What's up, everyone? I've been asked a few times to make some videos on specific characters in Marvel Rivals because I do think things get muddled with tier lists and metas and what people think characters can do versus what they actually do. And I've seen a few videos on TikTok that don't necessarily provide some input on said characters, so I thought I would give my own take on it. I am a Rocket Raccoon main, currently Diamond 2 and climbing. With Rocket and Mantis. Those are my two. We'll go over their skills, we'll go over their counters, we'll go over who they're good against, and hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight, and maybe you'll want to pick them up afterwards. So Rocket has two modes. He has a bombard mode, and he has a repair mode. So things to note about the repair mode. He shoots little orbs. They're going to slow down when they reach near people. Each orb is going to do 60 health per second. 60. That's a lot of healing. So now things to know about this. Think of it like Moira's orb in Overwatch. You can just shoot it off into the air if you want to. There's no fall off whatsoever. But my tip to you when it comes to healing with Rocket, try to think of angles where you'll get the most value. If you do plan on shooting straight forward, make sure you shoot against walls or make sure you shoot angling down. That way, if you go straight, it's just going to go right through. If you go down, it's going to spend more time traveling. Something to think about. And it will continue to bounce. The orbs will bounce up to 10 times. So in small rooms, small areas, Rocket is a good choice. His other mode is bombard mode. Now, some things you need to note about this. One, max damage is 10 meters. This is how close Rocket has to be to do max damage. As you start getting further back, you will be getting fall off. Maximum is 40% and it starts at 20 meters. So if Rocket is this far away, he still does some pretty good damage, but not as good as there you have it. Within 10 meters, he is lethal. Now, the reason why I say this is important is because Rocket is one of the few healers in this game that can heal in multiple directions and gun people down. Since the orbs don't stack, you don't need to be spamming them. So you can shoot one, shoot, one, shoot, and so forth. And while I'm not recommending you go into fights like point blank range, what people need to understand is that Rocket is actually exceptionally well when it comes to dive characters and characters that want into the back lane. Specifically, Hulk. Rocket's bullets do 16 damage per round, and he has 45 rounds. So what's the math on that? That's over 700 damage if you hit most of your shots. So while against the Spider-Man, that may not seem like much, against larger targets, that is wild. Rocket becomes quite the dive tank shredder, so it makes people think twice about diving him when he's in the back lane. So, perfect example, look at Hulk. Hulk is very in the meta right now. People love playing him with Iron Man. Hulks love to dive the back lane. He tries to dive a rocket. Look what he's going to get. Granted, those were all critical hits. But even just straight up on the body, you're going to be shredding almost his entire health bar. Not only that, while he has a harder time gunning down faster, more mobile characters, Rocket is also the most mobile strategist in the game right now. So he can do lots of movement. He gets 2 dashes in any direction, 5-second cooldowns. On top of that, he also gets wall climbs and wall runs. He is one of the few, if the only character, that can go in any direction on the wall. He can go around corners, he can go up and over, he can glide a little bit, he can dash. You know, Rocket is incredibly mobile. And he can use that to his advantage to get away from people. Look at Clintar, for example. Clintar is a perfect map where Rocket thrives because there's so many places where his size and his mobility will make him almost impossible to touch. So generally what I like to do is I like to just sort of, if a Hulk's on me, I dash out of the way, he can't reach me, I gun him down. Venom's another perfect example. Venom likes to lock you down. So what I like to do is, you know, I dash, I get out of his range. Gun him down. A lot of the times, these tanks like to be out of reach of healers because they think that they can take out the healers and just walk back safely. With a rocket, that's not the case. You'll have your other support with you as well, adding to that. Lots of times, dive tanks need to think twice about charging a rocket. So, Rocket also has a BRB machine. That's his E. When you throw it down, you get a one-time revive. One thing to know is that it does have a 50 meter range. So if your DPS is overextended, they're not getting revived. But 50 meters is still quite large, and it will revive the first person that dies when this is up. Now, as you can see, it's spawning multiple packs. This grants overhealth. It grants 25 overhealth. The blue one is a jump pack. Now, with the jump pack, very handy to pick up because if you just hit twice, you are at the top of the map. It is a get out of jail free card, let me tell you. This jump pack has saved me from so many bad situations. One time I got Doctor Strange ulted, and a Hulk and a Doctor Strange were tag teaming me, and I needed to get out. I'm out. You can drop, you can dash, you can continue the way you want to go. So one thing that I like to do with this, one, obviously place it out of range, but place it close enough that while you're in lulls of fights, just go grab some overhealth. Go grab another jetpack. Do what you got to do to survive. Other things that I do with this. If I don't plan on playing Rocket, if I want to play Mantis, I'll switch on Rocket. I'll throw it down at the beginning of the round as the door hasn't even opened yet and give everyone overhealth. Give everyone the jump packs because this thing, it's permanent. So once they have the armor pack, it's permanent until they use it up. And I do the same thing if I'm going to be playing Rocket, because then you start the fight with overhealth, you start the fight with jump packs, you start the fight just better off. It has a 5-second cooldown if not used. If it is used, I believe it's 40 seconds. $45 seconds. So Rocket's ultimate is called Sia. It's essentially a placeable drone. And when you throw it down, it gives everybody within range 40% damage boost. Think of it like the Luna Snow ultimate. Luna Snow ultimate also can give 40% damage boost. Rockets, anyone in range gets a 40% damage boost for 12 seconds or until the drone is destroyed. Now, me personally, like, you could hide this, but I kind of like putting it where it can get the most value, and that's in team fights. I do find it's also physical and has a health bar. While it has its own health bar, it can be a decoy. It can be used in multiple ways. Rocket's ultimate is not exactly like a... I wouldn't consider Rocket's ultimate to be kind of like a game-changing ultimate. You can win a lot of team fights with it because 40% is quite a staggering difference, but he recharges it very quickly. So throw it down, use it when you want to take a point, when you want to take a corner, something like that, when you just want that extra push. So I like to place mine, you know, where it gets a lot of value and attaches to a lot of people, but also if people shoot at it, that's completely fine because their bullets are going not to my teammates and it gives me more chances to heal. Now, as stated before, Rocket does counter quite a lot of dive, but there are some dive characters who will give him a run for his money. DPS-wise, be careful of Spider-Man, be careful of Star-Lords, be careful of Hellas, who will snipe you out of the sky. And strategist-wise, you'll be hard-pressed to find a character that Rocket can't help decimate. I would say watch out for Cloak and Dagger just because of the cloak auto attack. But generally speaking, like, Rocket's a pretty solid character, pretty solid healer. I hope this gives a bit of insight on Rocket. He's a lot of fun, but you do get hassled because people seem to be obsessed with the metas and the tier lists and all this sort of stuff like that. You know, they turn Rocket into a heal bot when he puts the work in. So to recap, my biggest advice with Rocket, practice being mobile, practice wall climbing, practice popping out a couple orbs, and then helping gun people down. Rocket does a lot of damage. He does a lot of damage that you don't see coming because you don't think he's going to be doing it. But yeah, pick who you have fun with. Try new characters. Let me know if you try Rocket. Also, let me know if there's another character you'd like me to talk about. Happy rivaling.